Pakistan is facing protests because of inflation, high energy costs, rising price of sugar. There are protests virtually every day in some part of the country. What is this interim government doing to provide relief to the public? I'm joined here today by Interim Prime Minister Anwaar Haq Kakar. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You have said time and again that the government is looking to provide relief. You've held a number of meetings, but as yet we haven't seen much action. What options are you exploring? You've mentioned out-of-box solutions. What are some of those solutions?
Well, first of all, we need to realistically diagnose the issue which we are facing. Why are we having these electricity price hikes? The reason is, one, mismanagement for last 2 or 3 decades. The way the electricity is being generated, then it is transmitted, and then the recovery model, how do we get back paid? So all 3 areas have its own deficiencies, and that deficiency primarily is being shared by the people who are not contributing towards this crisis. And that is probably the lower strata of the socio-economic class. We have the right kind of diagnosis. We know why the problem is there. What are the solutions, or what we are suggesting over here?
Especially the short term, because you are here for a couple of months. What is it that you
Well,
can
of
do?
course, but if you mean by short term that will we be able to alter the bills of a particular month of August or July or June, that probably is a very sort of a limited options as we are bound by the multilateral financial institutions. We do not have much of option.
So supposedly your government presented some proposals to the IMF and the IMF has rejected them?
No, that is not the correct way of describing the situation. Both sides, the fund and the government of Pakistan, has explored many venues, and there is an agreement that the class which does not contribute towards the tax base should not be incentivized. We agree with the fund. We both share the same approach. But the economic class, which is already contributing towards the tax net, we need to look after them, and there is a disadvantaged socio-economic class around people who have consumed around 200 units. That sort of a targeted subsidy to that section is neither being discouraged or not being curtailed by the fund or the government of Pakistan.
There's a perception that your government is disconnected, is aloof, is clueless, and does not appreciate the extent of public anger on the street. I mean, we've seen the dollar rise, rupee getting devalued virtually each day that you've been in office. How can you assure this country that you know, for the limited time that you're around, that you actually do appreciate and you are trying your best to provide some relief?
Well, the power sector and the pressure on our foreign reserves and the related components which is contributing towards that crisis. I think so. We have identified that it's an enforcement issue at the borders. Secondly, there are certain policy issues which needs to be altered. We have addressed both, and in coming week, I am pretty much sure that everyone would see the actions of the government, which would be translated, and it would send the message across, and the people who got unnerved within 10 days or 12 days would get settled.
Okay. One of the other things you've talked about is that Pakistan desperately needs dollar inflows, investment. And you've talked about potentially investment coming from Arab Gulf countries in billions. Is that sort of your wish list, or is there something tangible happening on that front?
I don't think so. It's my wish list. Prior to this government, already the SIFC forum was constituted. It has a statutory support, it has a legal basis, and that forum has already worked a lot, and many targets have already been achieved.
So just to kind of explain for our wider global audience, this is the forum where you are encouraging investment.
This is the Special Investment Facilitation Council, SIFC, where the multiple stakeholders of Pakistan's state organization are being represented, and their entire support base is there. So they have identified 4 or 5 areas, which includes the agriculture, IT, mines and minerals, and
agriculture,
of course, and there is a clear, tangible plan with a timeline where to do interventions and how, and what would be the potential partners. So the potential partnership has already been identified. The due diligence with those groups has already been communicated. So we are in the process where probably in next few months we would be realizing 1, 2 or 3 projects in different areas, and it would be on the ground.
And which countries have expressed serious interest in investment?
Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, all 3 have shown a lot of interest. It's not just that they have shown interest, they have assured and they have commitments that they would come for some tangible projects in Pakistan.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.